Yeah, gotta come back into focus, man. I guess I'm on now. What's up, y'all? Happy Friday. Welcome to another Sync Hustle Mindset. I'm the producer whisperer. Very, very, very happy to be back. Skipped another a very rare absence last week. I had to dip out on you guys because I went to Mexico. I went on my very first cruise with my family. It was I got two older sisters, and this was my younger older sister, but she was celebrating her 70th birthday, and the whole family went, man. Took my girl, and it was just dope. So had to dip out. I wish I could have did the live from the ship, but I didn't realize the whole Wi-Fi situation until I got on there. So like by the time I realized what was up, it was Saturday. But got to tell you guys sometimes about how cruising is. If you guys haven't been on a cruise, it's very, very dope experience, but there's definitely some stuff to avoid. So I'm gonna wait till the usual, wait till a few people get in here so we can get into the meat of the sandwich. Today we're gonna talk about excuses that people make when it comes to sync licensing, or should I say, not pursuing sync licensing or not sticking with sync licensing. And some of them are kind of crazy. We're going to talk about how to avoid these excuses and how to avoid people that make these type of excuses, and really put a spotlight, excuse me, get my water, put a spotlight on the benefits of sync licensing and the things that it can do for, for your career as an artist or a producer or a composer. So with all that being said, we're just gonna do what we do, wait a little bit, and wait for some people to get in here. So happy Friday. I should have some music on. 1 2 1 2 1 2. I should have some music on or something. Who's this in here? Whoever that is in there, hit me up in the chat. Let me know if you heard my if my volume is okay. If you can hear me okay. Put a one in the comment for me if you can hear me okay. 1 2 1 2 1 2. Okay, we are getting some levels. I'm a little bit early too. It's not 11 o'clock yet, so people are very, very punctual. So for those of you that are going to come back and check this out later on, I don't want to just be sitting here for you guys, but I don't, got some cool stuff to say, man, and I didn't want to repeat it, but the reason why I even wanted to do this type of live today is because I was basically checking out the whole music landscape from, from the indie artist perspective or the indie producer perspective, especially the indie producer's perspective. What's up, Zello? How you doing, man? I think you're the first one here. Can you hear me okay? Put a one in a comment for me if my volume is cool. Good. Thank you so much. Um, I had to take this rig down because the studio is like now hold on, the studio is like a makeshift nursery now because I went and got two kittens, and this has been their spot. Matter of fact, they just went and got their shots yesterday, so now they're out in the living room. They get to kick it out of here. If I had them in here, they wouldn't even let me do this. They're knocking over everything. What's up, KJ Rhodes, man? Hey, KJ, have you ever been on a cruise before? Or Zello, have you guys been on a cruise before? Put a yeah, just I mean, there's you guys are just only ones in here, so you could just answer. So you've been on a cruise. Never been. Okay, so let me tell you, this is my first one. Yeah, I went with my whole family. Basically, not my whole family, but a good chunk of them. There was probably like, I don't know, close to 20 of us, 15 to 20 of us on there. Um, and boy, let me tell you, it was my first one. It was a 3-day cruise to Ensenada, Mexico. Now, I'm gonna tell you guys first off, um, you don't gotta go to Ensenada, Mexico. You're not missing nothing. So if anybody ever suggests that you go to Ensenada, just avoid it. Ensenada is just like hood all the way through it. I was waiting for it to open up into the nice parts, and it's basically tourist things. So you got people running up to you trying to sell you stuff. You got people offering you free shots of tequila, which sounds great until you kind of like look at the conditions they're offering you the tequila from. And so gonna be passing on that. It was an experience. It was my first time in Mexico. So not knocking it, but if you're spending the bread, don't go to Ensenada. Uh, don't go to Ensenada. But the cruise ship, um, it was dope, man. It was like, it's some bread. It's gonna cost a little bit if you really, really, really want to do it. I don't drink that much, so I didn't get the drink package, which was like 500 bucks for the drink package. So over the 3 days, you get all the drinks you can drink for that $500. And the couple people in my family that got the drink package, let me tell you that they were taking advantage of it for sure. They was drinking, and I'm not gonna hate because the few drinks that I had was off their drink package. Shout out to the one hater bartender that tried to snitch us out because they're not supposed to be sharing their drink package with people. But I mean, hell, if they already spent their $500, they got drinks coming. So you know what it is. But the whole cruise experience from the free, all you can eat buffet food, um, dinner and breakfast in the dining hall, uh, all of the entertainment that they had. Really, I was just tripping out on the fact that that you could fit all that on a cruise ship and that mug floats. Like you don't really realize how big they are until you walk up on one. And the one that we're gonna go on next year, because yes, we've gotten the cruise bug now. We're gonna go fly to Florida and go to the Bahamas on one of the biggest ships, either the Icon or the Odyssey of the Seas, which is either the number one and number two biggest cruise ships that there are. And you wouldn't believe the stuff they have on these ships, man. Go-kart tracks and all kind of stuff. But I digress. To answer your question, the cruise was dope. I wish the food was better. You know what I'm saying? You had to pay a little bit more money to get to the good seafood, the crab legs and all that kind of stuff or whatever. And like I said, Ensenada was kind of a letdown. You're kind of in and out of there, so you don't really have time to take advantage of any cuisine or nothing like that. The food was adequate. You're not gonna be hungry, but you might be inclined to just go up on deck and get like the free pizza and that kind of stuff that they have versus always going to the buffet because the food don't change. The first day you're like, oh, okay, man, I'm busting, I'm grubbing. Then the second day you go to the buffet, it's all the same stuff, right? So you're like, okay, you kind of wondering like, are they making this stuff fresh? So then the third day, like it's all the same stuff. So you kind of get that vibe, like, is this the stuff from a day and a half? I don't know how they do it, but like, I'm just like was kind of wanting the menu to switch up in it. But I digress. No more about that. Y'all didn't come to hear about my cruise, but it was dope. I'm excited. Let me see, look in the comments right quick. Um, oh, did they get you on the gratuity at the end? Not at the end. It just hit the app. I got the Royal Caribbean app, and it hits the app like the second day. So it's automatic $18 a day per person. So it's like me and my girl, $18 a day per person for the 3 days as supposed to cover. And then they had the nerve to ask for more, like, if you want to tip us even more, like we'll take it. I bet you. But highlight, my nephew bought me this watch, dope as hell, man. It's a Invicta. If you guys aren't hip to Invicta, they're not the most expensive watches, but they're very, very dope watches. Very good watches. That's actually an Aquaman watch. I don't know if you can see the emblem on there, kind of shiny or whatever. But yeah, he saw me looking at it and then kind of surprised me with it. But anyway, so there's only a couple of you guys in here, but that's all good. Matter of fact, let me pop on my IG and remind people that I exist on here. Hold on. And then we'll get into it. You guys can go ahead and hit me with the wins because I am excited to hear about it. I know you guys been lighting it up. Hold on a second. Okay. Just reminding folks I'm on what's up, Kimmy Kimmy Kim? You guys give Kim some fire emojis real quick. She's stopping through on the way to physical therapy. You know, she got a new knee. Shout out to Kim's new knee. Shout out to Kim's new knee. She's doing real good, man, on her therapy, and she's coming back. She's trying to be at those Grammys in February. That's real. What's up, everybody on Instagram? I'm gonna have to figure out how to do the thing where I can stream simultaneously. But for you guys on IG, come over to the YouTube channel. What's up, Urban Zone Radio? What's up, Greg T. Weedy? What's up? Nice to see you. What's up, Billy E. Sink? What's up, King Mac? Come over to the YouTube channel, man. The Producer Whisperer at YouTube. Everybody's over here. We partying. We already into the wins for the week. Let's go. Urban Zone, come over to the YouTube channel. And shout out to Kim on that new knee. So win the win. So Zello says creating some templates for next year's submissions. That's what I'm talking about, man. You know how we do. Stay ready so we don't have to get ready. So fire emojis, fire emojis, fire emojis to Zello for staying prepared so he don't got to get prepared. He's not one of them dudes at the end at the January 1st talking about I'm finna get a gym membership only to not even go to the gym. He getting his workout in now. He in the gym right now. That's what I'm talking about. Fire emojis, fire emojis. What's up, Lagon Music Inc? How you doing, man? Welcome. Follow if you're not following. And yeah, what's up, JL Mixed It? Yeah, you know where we are, man. Come over to the YouTube channel. If you're on the IG right now, I'm live on YouTube right now. I'm not gonna be able to keep holding this phone for y'all. I should have put it in the stand or something, but you know, this is live TV. You're in my house right now. So welcome to my home. Okay, so we're gonna lead us on just a couple more minutes. Just to remind people, got a couple more people. So if you're just now popping in, welcome to another week of Sync Hustle Mindset. My bad for not being here last week, but I had went on a vacation with my family, which actually was my very first vacation. I can't remember going anywhere just for no reason. Let me get off of this IG real quick. I can't remember going anywhere just for no reason other than Vegas, right? And even in Vegas, I'm going there, you know, for a reason. I know somebody there, like it was a conference there or whatever. But I've never just been like, you know what, let's go on a vacation. And I still really didn't do that because I was invited to go by my niece because it was my sister's 70th birthday celebration, 3-day cruise to Ensenada. Don't go to Ensenada if you haven't been. But so that's why I was gone last week. I went on my first cruise. It was a lot of firsts for me. It was a vacation. It was took me 2 days of the 3 days to unwind because you know, brother be pent up. That's what working all the time will do to you, man. So one day, or if not on this live after we get the business out the way, if you guys want to hang out, I'll talk about the cruise a little bit for those of you who have never been on a cruise, because it's my first one. And I learned a lot of stuff for you guys to like avoid and then like go towards if you ever do a cruise. But my overall advice about cruises, real quick, before we get into the meat of the sandwich, is do cruises. You know, if you have any fear of the water and that kind of stuff, the cruise ships are so massive, you're not gonna be tripping on that. Like you don't really realize how big they are until you get up on one, and it's like literally like you got a shopping mall, a whole bunch of event venues, a hotel, and restaurants and all kind of stuff all floating. So it's just amazing the technology that they implement to make that happen. So yeah, it's dope going to cruise. So with all that being said, thank you guys. Welcome back to Sync Hustle Mindset live stream. We do this every single Friday for the most part. 11 a.m. PST, that's LA West Coast time. And we talk about all things sync, hustle, and mindset, because if your mindset is impaired, your hustle is going to be impaired and you're not going to get to where you're going. So we alleviate, fix, and talk about, discuss all that. so you end up winning. And because we want you to win, we always open up each live stream with the wins. And the wins is anything that you did between the last time we saw you and today, which is a week. And that could be anything that maybe family and friends might consider insignificant, but we consider everything you do to get at least one step further or closer to your goal a win. And that it could be anything, studying YouTube videos, finishing a beat, starting a beat, writing a song, reaching out to somebody, preparing for next year's pitching, whatever you're doing to level up. Everything needs to be celebrated, because us as music creators, this is a hard path we chose. Nobody wants to say it because they feel like, oh, we got talent, we doing what we want to do. This is hard, trying to make something out of this talent, and we know that. So we celebrate everything that we do heartfelt. It's not just no joke. When you see these fire emojis flying, you're going to know that everybody is doing it from the bottom of their heart, because fortunately we've been fortunate enough to build a community here where everybody care about each other. Everybody realize that there's enough meat on the bone out there for everybody to get something to eat, and nobody hesitates to help each other in this community. So that's what you done got yourself into. If you're new here, we're gonna welcome you here. Right now we're in the wins. Let me stop running my mouth. Let me get into the wins. So I wanted to tell you guys a little bit about what we do here at Sync Hustle Mindset, Produce Whisper. So going to the wins, to the comments. Yeah, the food that's the reason, I was looking so forward to just eating all I wanted to. So that's it. Um, the comments, you have to have some balance with work and family. It's all good. Missed having the session last Friday, but it's all good. I'm sorry, man. Still waiting on my first placement. Mr. Robinson, the producer. So yeah, we on it. We on it, JL. Mr. Robertson, the producer, says still waiting on my first placement. Just secured a contract with Viacom editor Brian McConnell. So fire emojis, fire emojis, fire emojis for Brian and Mr. Robinson. Wait, first of all, let's celebrate what Brian said, because he just secured a contract with a Viacom editor, and that's a little bit of game for you guys if you don't know. Um, and thank you for bringing that up while you're showering uh Byron with fire emojis and letting them know how we feel it here at the Producer Whisper Sync Hustle Mindset live stream, yada yada yada. Um, but if you guys don't know, the person that works the closest with the music supervisor is the editor. The editor is the person that actually takes the music that's procured by the music supervisor and cuts it up into the episode. So when you hear those 8-second, 12-second, 15-second snippets, the editor's doing that. A lot of time, and I learned this a long time ago, a lot of the time, because the editors never get approached, the music supervisors get approached. Um, the editors appreciate getting approached if you have your business on point, because they're the ones that have to hear those pieces of music over and over and over again. They're the one that'll take those full 2 minute, minute and a half cues and cut them into the shorter pieces, so they and lay them into. And I know this because I've been fortunate enough to have met a really dope editor back in the day who worked for Boona Murray, and they actually let me and my partner sit down and cut some of our music into our Kardashians episode, just to show us how they do it. Them days are over with. Like I said, back in the day, they were so happy to see music producers and actual, music creators come through the office and actually be there. He treated us like rock stars, but now the music supervisors are rock stars. We're not going to go down that road right now. You guys know what I'm talking about. I digress. But like I said, it's a good route to go if you guys are in the space of reaching out and, to new connections. IMDb is going to have a list of all of the editors that are working on all the shows. And like I say, have your stuff together when you reach out to them, meaning, have that playlist ready, do your due diligence like you're supposed to. Make sure that you know what kind of music they're using on the show. Make sure that you can specialize in that music, that you can add value to what they're already doing versus just, give me some placements type stuff or whatever. And a lot of those editors, man, they're still in that good, humble space. Not saying that the music supervisors aren't, but, it's different with them because they're so sought after, right? And nobody knows about the editor. So shout out, shout out, shout out for all that piece of game. Fire emojis, fire emojis, fire emojis. If you don't know, now you know. All right. So that's why I love these comments, man. And then Mr. Robinson, a producer, we can talk about um after we get done with the live or in the Q&A. I want you to hit me with some questions, man, because I want to know why, what you're doing in the meantime as you're waiting for, your first placement. I want to see how you're pitching. Don't answer right now because we're going to get into it when the wins right now. But after the live, we probably won't take too long this time. But I want to get into it a little bit with you just to see, you know, if there's anything that we can help you with, while you're waiting for these first placements. So let me go back to the wins. I'm saying, what's up, Mark Abrams? How you doing, man? Nice to see you. And Walter Boyd says, I landed with the major music library as well, all because of some gems that you said in an interview 3 years ago on Clint's podcast that I took to heart. So I want to thank you, George, for it. Man, Walter, you've been rocking with me for a long time, so I appreciate it, man. And I admit I'm not the most diligent with the in between week posting and stuff like that. I probably could have a bigger following. No excuses, just like the name of this live. But I appreciate you too. And fire emojis, fire emojis, fire emojis. That's why I do what I do, man. That's why I'm here. So you guys can get it, whatever you guys can get that you can use. You go use it and you go win with it. So fire emojis got a major library working with them, man. Fire emojis, and I mean that, y'all. Let's celebrate. We celebrating. That's why we call us the wins. This the best wins on the internet, best wins on YouTube, flat out. Let's go. Yeah, we got you, Mr. Robinson. I want to know what's up. And Byron, yeah, Byron says he appreciates it. He appreciates it, everybody. So make sure he feels it. It's not no fake. We don't fake the funk over here. If you faking the funk, you got to go to another live. You got to go to another podcast, go to another content creator, because we don't fake the funk over here. If you don't mean it, we don't say it. We don't mean it, we don't say it over here. Walter says, thank you, George, for all of the gems you drop to us in this community. Thank you so much for listening, man. There's nothing more frustrating than having a bunch of information and then having the information fall on deaf ears, right? It's not saying that I got advice and you got to take my advice, but it's not advice. Like a lot of the stuff that I'm telling you guys or that I tell you guys is flat out facts, stuff that y'all should do, stuff that y'all should avoid, even away from actual creating the music, because we go through that, how to format the music, sting outs, like we can talk about that all day. But the name of the live stream is Sync Hustle Mindset, because once you decide to do sync, you could already be at a really dope level musically. Now you got to know how to hustle this music. You might have been in a bubble. You know what I'm saying? But now you got to start being social. You got to start socializing. You got to start paying attention to your social media. You got to start doing other things or whatever. And there's a lot of emotion that goes along with this. And you guys know we make music. There's not one person in this live or anybody that's really good at making music, passionate about making music, that's not emotional about it. We get emotional about it. We want people to like our stuff. You know what I'm saying? So there I go, being passionate myself. You hear me running my mouth. But let me go to the comments here. I sent the DM on Instagram. Okay. The Smash Coast. Don't send to the Smash Coast Instagram. Send to the Producer Whisperer Instagram. Whatever you're trying to, if you're trying to converse with me about something, I'm on that one. Or my Fingers McGee one is cool too. But the Producer Whisperer one, since it's like we're trying to stay, glued together with the branding, the whole live stream and all that, you can go to my Producer Whisperer IG. Let me go here to the comments real quick. Win the wins, y'all. You told me send your music. I did. Okay, so I'm gonna check it out. You told me you would put me on blast. Oh, okay. All right. So you know what? Let me look real quick. I'm gonna look real quick. You guys give me a second because somebody reminded me that I was gonna put them on blast. So I don't see there's a request in here. I know you guys busy doing stuff. I'm not gonna waste time real quick. So we might have to circle back to this one next week. I don't see it in here. Let me go to the Smash Coast real quick. And yeah, there's Frankie Robertson. Frankie Robertson, Mr. Robertson. I sent my playlist a few weeks ago while you were live. Just wanted to follow up. I don't see the playlist on here. So we'll talk about it at the end, man. So I don't want to do this for everybody else's time, but we'll handle it today for sure. Okay, so got you. And I'm gonna check it out. And best believe next week, if there's something to put on blast, I'm gonna put you on blast, bad or good. I don't just be looking for bad stuff to put people on blast. I'm not like that. But if you're submitting music incorrectly, that's what I'm here to do. I'm here to let you know you making a mistake and then point out the mistake that you're making so you don't continue to make that mistake. If you come here on the live, let me turn this off. If you come here on the live, yeah, I just might put you on blast because it's my nature. It's what I do. So I'm sitting here simultaneously recording myself with this little piece of gear here, just in case you guys aren't hip to it. This is the new DJI Osmo Pocket 3. It is an absolute beast of a camera. If you guys want to know about it, I'll talk about it more at the end here. I took it on the cruise, filmed a bunch of stuff. Look it up on YouTube. If you're a content creator, if you're a vlogger, you definitely want to have this camera. So let me go to the comments real quick. Going back to the wins. What's up, Taquan Black? Nice to see you, kiddo. That's my kinfolk right there. Zello says, let's get some likes on the live, people. It will help the YouTube reach. Thank you so much, man. And if you guys do that, I promise, I don't be making promises. That's one of the reasons why I got this camera, is because a lot of the stuff I do is here is in the lab, but this Osmo Pocket 3 will let it's got a 1-inch sensor in it, so it's got good low light performance. I can shoot in all of the formats, 4K 120 for buttery slow motion, and then you see I got the mic right here. So the mic automatically hooks up. So it's for content creators, run and gun. So when I want to go, all I got to do is flip the screen, boom, I'm ready to go. I hit record and I'm recording, right? This way, it's got the mechanical gimbal on it. It's got full face tracking on it. So it'll keep me in frame and this and that. So I say all that, I had to get this camera on camera real quick. I just love this. I love this mug. But the reason why I got it is so I could film more content when I'm out in the streets, because I spend a lot of time out in the streets, and I'm finding that carrying a mirrorless camera or DSLR or even the video quality on my phone isn't up to par, because I don't like electronic stabilization and yada yada yada. So thank you so much for supporting. If you guys hit like, I will be dropping more content. We talked about this a couple lives ago, man. Putting content out is work. All of you guys that do it consistently, my hat's off to y'all, because even putting CapCut captions on your stuff takes 10 minutes sometimes, and when you're trying to run a company and do things or whatever, sometimes it gets a little bit overwhelming. But what's the name of this live? No excuses. I ain't making no excuses. If you guys can come back every week and support me, then my ass can get in here and buy a camera and make sure that I can make more content for you, because I got jewels forever, man. I got so much stuff to tell you guys, and then whatever you guys want to know, you can ask me too. Just trying to make myself more accessible to you. So thank you so much. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. What's up, Cherry? How you doing, lady? Tay, the most healthy eater, but always got a cold or something. Shout out to Taquan, man. Hope you feel better. No excuses, JL. That's right. So we're gonna get to it, man. We're gonna get to it. JL says to everybody, keep being you, keep being great. Exactly. Do you hear what I'm saying, man? Do you hear how supportive the people in this community are? I'm proud, man. I'm just proud. I'm proud to be part of it. I'm just proud. Yeah, I tell you got little kids. Anyway, the little kid's gonna make you sick. Shout out to Tay. We hope you feel better. So are we still in the wins? Anybody drop any more wins this week? Because we're gonna get into it. We're trying to help out Mr. Robertson at the end. Robertson, the Q&A should be lit today. I'm still looking over at the wins, y'all. Let me take a sip of my delicious icebreaker artesian spring water from the springs of Sedona, Arizona. No added anything. It's just water. Okay, so we done with the wins. I guess we're done with the wins. Sherry says just working. All right, y'all. Okay, so look, let's get into it. The name of today's live stream is No Excuses, right? And the reason why I said no excuses is because I see that there's a lot of people out there who have full intent on pursuing a music career without sync being involved in that career. Um, and to me, that's in this day and age, in today's climate, maybe not so much back in the day, but in today's climate, to me personally, disclaimer, everything that I tell you guys, if it's not a factual statement about sync, as far as, that could be quantified by numbers or facts, fact checking, then it's going to be my personal opinion. And this here is my personal opinion. For someone today in 2023 going into 2024, pursuing a music career and not including sync in their career is just ludicrous to me, right? And the main reason for this versus back in the day is the whole landscape, the whole music landscape. What do I mean by that? What are you going to do if you're not doing? Right. And we see the guys that are out there, and this is not to knock anybody for their hustle, because I want everybody to win whatever hustle they choose. So the Beat Stars guys, there's some of you have done that, some of you are doing that, some of you are winning doing that, right? When I'm saying include sync into your hustle, I'm not saying don't do whatever it is you're doing. Whatever it is your natural inclination is to hustle, everybody's got their own path, their own fingerprint, right? So we're gonna go do what we feel is the best, option for us to do. So a lot of the guys that are pounding out beats all the time, Beat Stars and those type of platforms is a good revenue source a lot of the time, because there's a lot of rappers out there, a lot of artists out there that will lease those beats or whatever. But since you guys are already cranking out music, you should be cranking out a selection of music that is specifically for sync licensing. And then let me tell you why. We're gonna go over some of the things, and a lot of you guys already know the benefits of sync licensing. So, especially in this community. So I'm gonna get some help from the comments from the people that are already doing it, right? That have already seen some benefit from sync licensing. So we're going to go with recording artists first, right? The indie recording artist whose goal most of the time is to secure a record deal with a record label, record some great projects and end up being adored by millions of fans across the world through sales of their album and through personal appearances. This is their goal, right? They're not really tripping on getting placements. They're not really tripping on some of the other things that some of us might be tripping on. Like, they're hell bent. They want to be Taylor Swift. They want to be the next whoever, right? Um, I would never, me being a full-time sync, professional, I would never discourage anybody from doing that. Even though as a music producer, that was my dream and go back in the day too. I wanted to get famous and produce for, famous people and be known like a Timbaland or a Scott Storch or whatever, for my musical prowess, my skill set as a producer. I wanted that to be the case too. But I'm glad that while I was doing that, I pursued sync licensing as well, because it ended up being the main thing. Um, kind of, not want to say by default, but it required so much of my time once I started getting placements and attention, once I started getting placements, that I didn't really have the time or want to spend the time to try to be famous anymore. I saw something that was already working for me personally and decided to just stay down. This was my lane. Not saying that I wouldn't want to Grammy with Beyonce or whatever. I'm not hating on that. But the level of hustle that it took and the type of hustle that it took to get into that lane, it just seemed like it was the odds weren't going to be in my favor. And when I say that type of hustle, I mean like it's a networking hustle. You got to be at the best part, at the right parties. You got to be at the right events. You got to meet the right people. They got to feel a certain way about you. You might not have the best social skills. You might not be able to light a room up when you walk in or be able to command a conversation. You might have an issue with eye contact. There might be a whole bunch of things that can hurt your actual hustle when you're having to do this. Um, I was one of those people, unfortunately, like, I'm outgoing and all that stuff or whatever you say that, but like when it comes to those, like, you know, it's psychological warfare when you're doing that, when you're networking with purpose, when you're going into a room and you're like, I gotta meet that person over there. And that person has gatekeepers. And if I can get by those gatekeepers, I'm gonna get X amount of fractional amount of time to say something to that person. And then I have to win that conversation. I have to make sure that it's a memorable moment for them. So when I see them at the next event or hopefully when we connect, I leave an impression on them. This is a skill set. Networking with purpose is a skill set. It's a skill set that I wasn't the best at, like, because you used to always being around your friends and your family and people that you're comfortable with. I was out here in LA going to parties that, I didn't know nobody at the party. I was going down to clubs in Hollywood by myself, taking cabs way before Uber or driving when I first got my car down there by myself, hustling my way into the club because I knew that anybody that saw me standing in line wasn't going to think I was about anything. I had like $30 in my pocket, right? I had to develop my skill set for that. And it took a lot of time and effort. And when Sync came along, I was like, I'm not going to keep going out to these clubs. I'm not going to keep doing that. I'm going to sit in here and make these beats and do that. So as a person, I know I'm just let me run my mouth for a second. I'm swinging it around for y'all, I promise. So as a person that was basically just a music producer, right? So meaning like I made music when I want to, when I was compelled to, when I felt like it. Sync, because I was actually dealing with music supervisors who had deadlines and they required certain types of music. It kind of forced me to like start being organized instead of just doing what I wanted to do. It kept me in the house where, be quite frankly, that's kind of where I wanted to be at the time, is in the house. I got very tired quickly of the Hollywood scene. I don't know how it is where you guys live. I'm sure the club, there's always the people that's trying to be, you know, front and trying to be more than, basically smoke and mirrors, like, fake it till you make it type situation. But here in LA, they call LA Liars Anonymous, because every time you go to a spot, if you go to one of these, Hollywood spots, these where, where people might actually be at that you want to get next to you, everybody in there is lying to you about something. Nobody is going to be genuine and just talk about genuine stuff or regular stuff. They're going to start conversations talking about, you know, who they know and who they worked with and this and that or whatever. And I personally just wanted to get away from that. So one thing that Sync did for me is take me out of that whole, like, you know, just that whole universe of trying to be famous and all of the stuff that you have to do hustle wise and how you have to get accepted, how you can end up in the wrong circles and all that kind of stuff. It just took me away from that and put me onto something that I had a lot more control of. Right now, keep in mind, in Sync, you still have to meet people, you still have to build relationships, but those relationships are built on solid foundations. They're built on the fact that, you are doing what you say you're going to do. When somebody, I told you guys a long time ago, in Sync, the relationships are, they start before the music soups, before these editors, before they even meet you. They start at your social media, right? So if your social media is glued together, if you're doing what you're supposed to do, if you're a producer and your social media says you're a producer and that's you're posting producer stuff consistently, then they're going to believe you when you approach them. Everybody credit checks you when you send out your first playlist to a library or music soup or Seek agent. They're all over your social media to see if you mean it, because music is not hard for us to find, as on this side of the fence in the Sync industry. Reliable sources of that music is the hardest thing to find. And with reliable sources, it's people that are going to have that have an understanding of Sync to a certain extent. Those are the people that not only we look for, but most people that are in sync, that are looking for your music, they're looking for a reliable source of that music. They're not just working with the music, they're working with you, and they work with you, not for you. So don't get that twisted either. But um but I digress again, getting excited. The thing that One of the things that sync gave me was the ability to have more control over my own destiny versus, what you have to do getting a record deal. I could just do the work. I could learn these genres. I could go on YouTube and I could study how to do these things. I didn't know what a sting out was before. I didn't realize sync was a whole thing as far as how the music is used and the type of music they used and this and that or whatever. So because it was something that I could actually learn, I could take the time myself and do it. And because once I learned how to do it, these music supervisors needed the music, on a schedule at a certain day, on a certain day, a certain time, that type of thing or whatever. It forced me to be responsible with my music production, which made me more put me more towards an entrepreneurial mindset. I wasn't just producing music anymore. I was more moving music like a business would. I'm following meeting deadlines, like I'm following instructions, doing briefs and this and that. Um, I'm actually getting placements on shows. I'm hearing those placements. I'm promoting those placements. And so it just opened one door after another door for me personally. But it was up to me what doors I wanted to be open, what directions that I wanted to go in. Now, you guys, as music producers and recording artists, you guys don't have to start a smash course. You guys don't have to have a library and all that kind of stuff. You can get placements and just keep getting placements. You can evolve how you want to evolve. That's another big plus why a person should pursue sync versus not pursuing sync. No excuses, is because you do have the ability to evolve within sync the way you want to. If you want to do video game trailers, you can evolve to do that. If you want to score a television show, you can evolve to do that. If you want to stay in underscore and you like background music, uh specialize in sports, uh if you're a recording artist and you want to get we won't get into recording artists in a second, but these are the things that sync could do for you. Now, the reason why a person should always consider, not even consider, that should include sync in their hustle is because sync always helps your other hustles. So if you're a recording artist trying to get known, what better way than to have your latest single or one of the songs that you recorded in a television commercial, an advertisement, or a prominent TV show, a sports placement, a trailer, a video game placement. There's so many ears and eyes that see this media when it comes out, oftentimes way more than you would get if you were getting local airplay on your local radio station. Um, which I'm sure a lot of you would appreciate. But a TV placement on a network or one of these popular reality shows or whatever, it could go a really, really, really long way for helping your career. And there's been endless instances where we've seen obscure songs from the 80s and back in the day. They get these placements, and the next thing you know, boom. You saw what XJ Will was just talking about, that music that got placed in the GTA 6 trailer, and how it just started blowing up as soon as the trailer went out. This is a piece of music which still had some moderate shelf life because I guess it was a popular piece of music back in the day, but it hit crescendo and it rode its wave, right? It had done what it's gonna do. And the people that were still listening to it are diehard fans from back in the day. But then, it like I don't know how many times in popularity it boosted this guy's numbers and just gave him a whole new career all over again. That's what sync can do for artists that have been out back in the day, and it could do that just as much for artists that has never been out. If you're obscure and you're an indie artist, a TV commercial could launch your whole career, not to mention get you paid. So let's talk about some of the reasons why the people that are avoiding sync. Wait a minute, before we get into that, hit me with a one in the comments if you guys are with me so far. If I'm running my mouth too much, let me know. But let me go in the comments real quick. Hit me with a one. You with me so far? I feel drained after every networking event. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, because there's a bunch of bad energy in there, man. You got to do whatever you can do to get to that special person or that special situation, and then you have a moment. I see you guys all saying what's up to everybody, to each other. It's love in there. Everybody's giving each other love. That's dope. That's dope. Okay, so I'm gonna tell you straight up. One of the main reasons that people don't pursue sync or they give up on sync, and I even had one of the producers that was on Smash Coast tell me one day, he's just like, I just don't feel like chasing placements. You know, he's a super, super dope producer. He has who shall remain nameless. I'm not gonna put him on blast like that. He's super dope, super unique producer. You know, he's one of those producers. You know how like Timbaland didn't sound like anybody else like that? Like he's one of those producers. He's got a definite fingerprint. It's very unorthodox beats is knocking, like he knows what he's doing. I won't say any more about him because you might figure out who he is. No, you might not, um, but he felt like his lane was to keep pursuing that industry side. Like he, had made some connections in the business and wanted to do that. Hey, God bless you. I had a conversation with him and told him, like, you're making music anyway. I don't see why you feel like you're quote unquote chasing placements. Yes, because there's a level of consistency that comes with this. There's work that comes with this. You have to keep in touch with me as a sync agent. You have to keep sending music to me as a sync agent. I'm only as strong as the music that I get from you guys. So if you stop sending it, once I've pitched out all the music that you sent, I can't just keep pitching it to the same people. We only got so many clients. I don't know everybody. You know what I'm saying? And so I'll pitch it to all our clients, and then I'll pitch it to all our third parties. And if don't ain't nobody biting on it, and I'm not getting playlists from you, then like what can I do? Like, that's why sometimes a lot of people don't get placements as fast as they like because they're just not putting enough pressure on it. And everybody know pressure breaks pipes, right? So he didn't want to keep applying that kind of pressure. So he decided I'm not going to do it. The music that you guys have, keep pitching it, but I'm not, I don't want to keep sending a playlist once a month. I don't, whatever he thought work that it entailed, he felt like that's not his lane. He didn't want to do it, and God bless him. And I appreciate him because him doing that brings up a point. Each and every one of you guys and the guys out there in the world that are considering sync, thinking about sync, um, have opinions about sync already or whatever, you got to decide what kind of person you are, what you want to do, where your lane is. Do you really want to put this work in? Because all of us in the sync education space, we keep telling you guys this work, right? We keep telling you guys this consistency. We're not saying it's hard work, but it's consistent work. It's steps that you got to keep doing. You got to keep creating this music, got to keep doing your due diligence, studying these TV shows, getting your IMDb on, listening to the music that's in the formatting your music correctly, networking in places like this, forums like this. Uh, you got to get your sync education on because knowledge is power in this game. A lot of people just don't want to do that. They just want to make music and take their chances, and whatever else their lane is, that's what they want to do. So ain't nobody knocking that, right? Me personally, like I said, I think that there's enough time, room, and space in a day for you to include sync. We'll talk about those ways, but to include sync in your hustle, I don't think anybody that's trying to hustle their music should exclude sync. It should just be right up there with anything else you're trying to do. But we're talking about the reasons why people quit. Reasons why people quit, they just don't want to do it, and it is work. So how do we alleviate that? How do we alleviate that misconception that, you know what, let me take that back. It's not a misconception that it is work, but that misunderstanding that sync is just going to take up so much of your time that you can't do what you want to do. You can't hustle the way you want to hustle. Now, keep in mind, this is to the people I'm assuming that are hustling. I'm not talking about lazy, MFers that just don't want to do anything, that just want a record deal to fall in their lap. I'm talking about the people that if you're not doing sync, you are on the other side of the fence trying to get that deal. You are dropping music. You are dropping visuals. You are out there doing shows. You posting the way you're supposed to be posting. You still hustling, right? You still doing your thing. I'm not talking about you guys. I'm talking about you guys. I'm not talking about the lazy people that are just lazy, that just don't want to do sync because, oh man, I got to register my music, and oh man, I got to do a spreadsheet. No, I'm like, this and that. No, I got to network. There's people that just don't want to do that, right? If you don't want to do that, then I can't even say to include sync because you're just gonna be wasting people's time. You're gonna end up not doing music. I know a lot of people in my age group, I didn't come up doing this production stuff by myself. I know a lot of people in my age group that was dope, had the wrong attitude back in the day. Now they don't do new music anymore because they're bitter about it. Oh, I don't make beats no more, man. They was trying to screw me over and this and that. I thought you made music because you loved it. All right. See what I'm saying? So for the people that are making music because they love it and adapting they hustle to try to get something out of their music, there's no excuses. If you have a lot of time spent on your hustle and syncing isn't included, and you're feeling like you don't have time, or you don't want to put forth the effort that it takes to sit and contact music supervisors and or sync agents and formulate these emails and this and that, I say this to you: at least take the time that's necessary to learn how to create music for sync. You're already making what I assume is dope music, what you feel like is dope music, right? The only difference is formatting the music for the media, right? So you're not doing full 3.5 minute songs, right? And then paying attention to what type of music it is you have, and looking to put it where it can be the best fit. So who's using the type of style that you have? Are you really knocking it out the park? And and can you get it over there, right? So if you're one of those people that don't want to do all of that hustle with the music supervisors and this and that, then you're going to have to at least get your music right, and then you're going to have to at least start networking with people in the sync space that are already getting placements, because fortunately these people have already done the legwork, and they've got a couple connections, they got a few connections, they got music supervisors, or like, we saw in the chat earlier, some just got in with a music library. Okay, so you know what if that music loop, hypothetically speaking, what if that music library asks him for more music than he's able to produce, or that he even has? Hey man, we love your music, can you give us 500 songs, right? If he doesn't have that, he's going to be looking to do some deals, some 50-50 deals with y'all, so he can get that money. He's not going to say no, I can't do it. He's going to network and be like, okay, y'all, they want 500 songs, they pay an X amount, and he's going to have to network. So there are opportunities for you guys who feel like you don't want to do all that work. There's opportunities, with the people that are already getting placements. But let me tell you, just like I said before, if this is the route you choose, right, you always bring value to the situation. No one works for you. They're going to work with you. So when you approach people like KJ Rhodes or Zello or Cigar or whatever, you approach them in the mindset that you are going to be helping them further achieve what they're doing. You're going to come and bring uh added value to their situation. You're going to be able to help them level up what they're already doing. You know what I'm saying? It's not like, hey, bruh, I see you winning. I got the heat. Let's win together. If you want to approach them like that, that's at your own risk. But me, I'm trying to tell you how to do it, right? Once a person gets into the space, they start getting placements. Trust me, they remember every day that they spent before they got those connections. They remember every day that they spent not getting those placements, right? So they're not gonna let anybody just jump in and be like, hey, yeah, man, kumbaya. I'm getting these placements now. Jump on board or whatever. You're gonna have to be vetted. And that goes back to your social media. They're going to be looking at that. It goes back to your approach, the same way that you would approach a music supervisor that you don't really want to do all that. You don't want to put that work in, but it's the same thing, right? So there's not really a way for you to avoid doing some work, but just realize that some work has to be done. So for those that aren't trying to do any work, God bless you. Good luck. I don't know what's going to happen. Hopefully you're so talented and we can jump in a time machine and go back to the 90s, 2000s, where people were actually getting discovered based on their talent and not their streaming numbers before streaming. But like, if you're not putting up major numbers and you're streaming and you don't have a phenomenal following on social media, I don't know what's going to happen. It's just the way it is. It's not even, I can't even listen to your music. It's not even really about your music at this point. And this, boys and girls, brings me to another reason why sync should be an option for you. Um, no excuses, because streaming is screwing you. If you're trying to monetize your music and you're trying to get somewhere with your music, somebody tell me, what else are we going to do at this point? What else is going to be able to pay you the amount of money sync can pay you, expose you to the public the way sync can expose you. Um, Tighten up your game, your whole hustle and your whole game the way sync can. Because if you're not doing sync, then you're hustling some kind of way. It's all on your own time. See what I'm saying? So when you're building your website, you're doing your BeatStars or whatever, you're not required to hurry up and do it. You're not required to get it done by Tuesday at 5 o'clock in the day. You know, it's still on your own time. When you start doing this sync and these libraries need this music, these music soups need this music, you get used to getting that music in, being proactive, and it just makes you better. It makes you more efficient when it comes to creating your music. You're going to be more um, aware of your time and efficient with your time. And let me tell you, man, one of the main reasons you should incorporate sync in your hustle is because of how good it feels when you land that first one. You're going to have a whole mindset, a whole skill set when by the time you land that first one, you're going to know how to do it. So you can rinse and repeat. You can teach people how to do it like I'm doing, right? For free. I haven't put out one course or nothing, no consultations. I haven't charged nobody nothing yet, right? But you could do it. Like once you get the knowledge, you can monetize. Um, what I am getting paid is building a community and being able to network and talk and converse with all you guys, which is priceless to me, right? Oh, trust me, I'm gonna start charging y'all for something. I'm gonna do a newsletter for a couple dollars a month or whatever. I'm gonna do something, trust me. But see, that's part of the thing. Once you get to a certain place and sync, and it doesn't have to be, 15, 20 years like me, but you can start branching and doing other things. I already see Sagara doing other things. I see Petrol, drum kits for sync. He and I are doing a VST just for sync. I'm not gonna say anything about it, but yeah, Petro and I are putting together a VST, AU instrument VST just for sync licensing. It's about to be dope. So there's no excuses, man. There's no excuses for those of you who feel like you got to do all this and that. There's people that have already done the legwork, people already in the game doing it. All you got to do is approach them the right way, bring value to the situation. Fortunately for you, there's always more placements coming. There's like 400 or 500 television shows in production, like on TV right now that are taking music from network to cable, right? And we're not even talking about film and video games and all the other stuff, micro licensing and all the other stuff. So, um, so point blank, you say you want to monetize your music, right? You say you want to get paid with your music. Um, the second you want $1 for your music, you're a business now, whether you want to act like a business or not. You're trying to get compensated you know, for a product or a service. So you're a business. So you might not have realized that, or you might not want to go down that road. But if you want to be successful, meaning that you do want to monetize what you're doing, you're going to have that kind of mindset. If you don't want to have that kind of mindset, then you better hire a manager or somebody around you that does, and cut them in for a percentage and let them take it, because there is no way to avoid it. If you want to be compensated for your music, whether it's sync or anywhere else, you're going to have an entrepreneurial mindset, especially in sync. Especially in sync, you're going to have to be organized. And it also, from your social media to your emails, you know, it's funny because if you guys realize when I get on here and I talk to you guys, I don't talk a whole lot about the actual music in sync, as far as like what kind of stuff to pitch or how to format your music and that kind of stuff, because there's a lot of that out there. There's a lot of, Clinton, those guys, they do the sync 101 really well. And I think the Road to 10 Placements course, like it step you ABC through through the how to actually create the music. I don't want to waste anybody's time when we're on here, man. I'm trying to tell you what I see, and what I see is when people don't do it in sync, when they fail in sync, meaning not saying that they don't get placements. I'm saying when they give up or they don't pursue it, or that kind of thing, is just because of the hustle, where you know uh, there's some kind of flaw in the hustle. And this can come from anywhere, man. This isn't, it could come from our personal lives. We could be going through it with our significant other, husband, wife, or whatever. We could have financial problems at the crib. We could have a full-time job that's beating us down or whatever. Um, and so we talk about all these other things, these life things, because these things will impede your hustle. If you don't feel like, you have a bad day at your regular job, you come home. There's something on my mic. You come home, you might not feel like um getting in the lab. You might not feel like, being on social media or networking or whatever. And so I like to talk about those type of things, because like I've been through that. I'm sure a lot of you are going through that or been through that. Like life be life, and right. And so we encourage each other, and we let each other know that the talent that we've been blessed with is not for no reason. We just got to go through some trials and tribulations to get to where we going. Um, that job that you have, that's not music. You might not like going to that job, but there was a time you was praying to God to get hired at that job. So perception is reality. So we want to keep everybody in the right mindset when they're pursuing their pursuits with this music, because it is the toughest route. Um, Let them know that they're not doing it alone. Let them know that we celebrating the wins with them, and anything that we can do, whether on the education side or the support side, to keep each other pushing through on them days where we don't want to push through. We don't want to learn nothing that day. We don't feel like doing what is necessary. We don't feel like putting the work in, but we congregate and we give each other that support so we can keep going, because it ain't just hop up and just keep making music until we win. Like a lot of these days get hard, and I've seen way more people quit than stay to the finish line, right? And a lot of them people are dope as hell. They didn't have to like go 500% with the sync. They could have kept doing what they're doing and included sync in it, and probably would have got to where they're going a lot faster with sync. But that's neither here nor there. You coulda, shoulda, woulda. But for those of you that are hanging in there, that have those tough days, but put it this way, you guys put a one in the comments real quick for me if you have those type of days, if you have those tough days where life away from sync and away from music be wanting you to like, you know, put a pause on this music for a day or whatever or more. Or do you have people in your life, or did you have people in your life, personal life, that's like, man, you still doing this music thing, or they don't or people that you want to support you don't support you, you know, put a one in the comments if any of that, if any of these things that can deter you from you doing this music stuff are prevalent in your life or have popped up in your life and you've had to fight through it or are fighting through it, give me a one in the comments real quick. I know I'm preaching, so give me a one. I see Walter, I see Cherry, KJ, Segura. Right. See, that's what I'm saying. So that's one of the main reasons why we do what we do here with the wins, and we talk about the things that we talk about, is because those days pop up, right? They do. And so um but there's no excuses, because there are communities like this. You can come to the Producer Whisperer live. You can hit me up in a DM. Anybody in this live that's a regular has no problem talking to you if you have issues, or if you have questions about, hey man, how did you get through this, or how did you do that, or whatever. They'll answer your questions, man. We are trying to help each other here. Is very, very supportive. So with all that being said, no excuses, man. There's no excuses. If you are trying to hustle your music and you're not including sync in your hustle, you're not hustling correctly. You need to include sync in your hustle. Sync is going to garner the biggest um, reward at the end of the day. You get your first placement, you get compensation. Um, it's going to make you a better person as far as your hustle, make you more organized, tighten up your business. You're going to create more longer lasting, meaningful relationships based off real stuff, not who's the most popular at a party, or who got the biggest, movie out, or the biggest record out, or this and that, or who looked like they got the most diamonds on, or pulled up in the most expensive car. Like that's Hollywood all day. It had to go through all that, right? I was the flyest brother in a Ross outfit in the club. I was the flyest brother with $20 in my pocket, borrowed in the club. But I used to hustle my way in them clubs, man. I never waited in line. I pay that $20 to a bouncer to let me in there just so I could look important. But I digress. So no excuses, no excuses, no excuses. And the next time I hear somebody talking about, oh man, sync this and that or whatever, I'm gonna be like, okay, well, you're just not hustling right. There's people that can alleviate some of that work that you think you have to do, but you're just gonna have to bring them value. If your music is great, you're willing to make music for sync. There's a lot of us that are gonna take that music because we like to turn in 50 when we can only turn in 25. We love to turn in 50. It's only gonna make our relationship with that music supervisor, that entity, even stronger and deeper when I'm able to produce, or turn in more music and its quality. But I got to have a team that I can depend on, right? So, like I said, good music is not hard to find these days. These music supervisors know where to find good music. A reliable source of that music is the hardest thing to find. So whether you're going to be that directly for a music supervisor or a library, or you're going to network with one of these guys here in the live and you're going to bring value to their situation. Some of you guys are building libraries of your own, building catalogs of your own, and you're doing non-exclusive deals with people. I'm sure you'll appreciate somebody that can consistently give you great music for you to continue your hustle, whatever. Like that's all open to you. But there's no such thing as like being lazy in the game and no excuses. So with that, you know, sorry, it's not some long, profound, you know, topic, but there's just no excuses. There's many, many reasons why people quit. Most of the reasons can be alleviated if they just hustle right. But like I said before, if one of those reasons is just you just lazy and just don't you feel like you're so talented, things should come to you, then click off the live now because this ain't the community for you. We be putting work in. No offense. So with all that being said, we're gonna open up a quick Q&A and uh for any questions about anything. And I'm gonna go here to while I'm doing that. Cherry says the community definitely keeps me going. So who was that we were going to talk about waiting? They were waiting for a placement. And we're going to talk about what are they doing in the meantime while they're waiting for placements. Definitely don't approach me super casually, Segura says. Yeah, be about your business. Cherry says, you got to do that stuff too as an indie, too. That's why most can't make money doing that either. Yeah, because it's business and people don't want to conduct business. They think because it's music, there's always a casual approach, and you can't approach people casually when you're trying to make money. I mean, that's what we're trying to do, right? We're trying to make money. Skip being famous and all that stuff or whatever. We're trying to get compensated one way or the other. So you talking business is business. Don't approach people casually. Walter says, how's the SC website coming? Smash Coast website is up. Like it's up. We're doing a new library and we're still working on it. It's actually going to be the Smash Coast catalog. We're not going to do Sync Plus just yet because Sync Plus is going to be all exclusive. And right now we're just housing everybody's stuff that we have already on deck so we can, you know, provide better opportunities for the people that are on the team, on the team now. And, everything in time. Thank you for asking. Mr. Robinson says, man, it's hard. It's hard for the first one. I'm in sync hell, Mr. Robinson says. Okay, so yeah, thank you so much, Walter. Okay, so Mr. Robinson, let's ask, and this is for everybody. Um, how many times a week? No, wait. How many entities are you pitching to a week? And yeah, let's just start there. How much are you pitching in a week? And this we're gonna learn right now, everybody. So Mr. Robertson, the producer, is under the spotlight right now, and we're going to try to help him level up. So in the meantime, Zello says, what's the best way to get to the ad money? Ah, that's my focus for 2024. The placements are cool, but I need to elevate in 2024. Okay, so I could do a whole live about this, right? And that's a great question, Zello, because that's what we all want to get to is the bag. Now, I will tell you, because advertising pays the most money and it is coveted, it's not as easy to get into. There's just less opportunity as there is in regular television. There's just way more TV shows. There's for every 30-minute TV show, there's 22 minutes. Okay. The rest of the time is commercial, but there's only 22 minutes of playing time. So there's more um there's more time, there's less commercial time. There's 15 to 30 seconds for the ad. There's only so many ads per break. But with that being said, don't be discouraged. Now, this is my personal opinion. Okay. This is for somebody that's working with a couple of ad companies now. One of the third party companies that we work with, So Stereo. Um, and you could even reach out to them if you want to. They get a lot of that's all they do is ads for the most part. A little bit of TV, but they do ads. Um, they're gonna be wanting recording artists, man. They're gonna be wanting those brand new, on the verge of popping. Not saying they gotta have a bunch of numbers, but you're making some cool music, some eclectic music. Female artists definitely a plus. Singers definitely a plus. Um, Musicality definitely a plus, not just beats, not just 808s and trap style. I'm talking about like produced, instruments and the stuff or whatever. Um, Diversity, a lot of diversity in the styles, quirkiness, stuff that stands out, has a cool factor. Um, it could be of this time period, it could be of any time period, so it doesn't have to sound like, today's music. It can sound like, you know 90s, 2000s. It could sound like the 1920s, depending on what the music is. But your ability to create more styles of music um is going to increase your chances. And again, this comes with uh you learning along the way, and then networking with people that can do stuff you can't do. If you can bring them value, so somebody can, maybe produce some styles that you're not proficient in, but you could have the vocal skills or songwriting skills or whatever, however you guys can collaborate and make that happen. But I'm saying that as far as ad companies are concerned, you know they spend a lot of money of those ads because for the most part they want those ads to stand out and be memorable. So they pay a lot of attention to the music. Now keep in mind, you're going to hear instrumentals on ads, right? So a lot of the time when you hear those instrumentals on the ads, especially if there's on streaming ads, um, those are quick turnaround ads. So those, pay 25, 50 grand. You're pulling from something that you already have in the catalog if you follow the brief correctly. Um, and they're not spending a ton of time of those. The ads that, six figures and up, 100 grand and up, they're spending time on those. We get those type of briefs too. Um, there's a lot of detail in those briefs. They're not difficult. I like detail because they basically just spell out everything that they want. And then if you can do it, you can do it. If you can't, you can't. Um, but you make sure that when you do get to that point, you get briefs, you're sending exactly what they want at the highest level that you can create it. You're not just guessing and, well, maybe this will fit type thing. Cause like, it's like a restaurant. They're asking for a very specific meal prepared a very specific way, and you got to give it that way. So how do you get to it? I would start working, the social media crazy. Um, One of the things that Gildy did when he took a year off to learn theory so he could start doing video game trailers, is he started taking trailers that were already done and rescoring them, and then atting the people that did these trailers originally, right? And they started loving him and making friends, and he eventually started getting those trailer gigs himself. So you can maybe take some ads that have been out and like redo the music to them pieces or whatever. Credit the people that created the ad. So if you could find out what ad company was responsible for it, what agency was responsible for it, at them in your post and redo the music. Um, and do that consistently and say, hey man, this is my vision of this or whatever. I see people reimagining trailers and movie clips and all that kind of stuff. So, but this with this hustle, if it was me, I would probably at the, make sure that I at the ad company, at the original composer, if there was information about that, and really show that I'm specializing in that space. Because most of the time, if you're trying to get, you know, you see people get ad placements one off where it's like, oh, it's dope, I got a placement. They weren't trying to. Their music got discovered or sent by somebody and they weren't trying to. But then you got what I assume what you're talking about is you want to be in the game consistently. You want to consistently get ad placements, right? So the reason why it takes this type of hustle to kind of get in the game, you got to make them see you, is because somebody already has that spot. Somebody is in there and they're their favorite, they're their go-to. And you know you're really waiting for an opportunity for them to either not be able to do it, or if they're in there like that, they're not going to be paying attention to those 50 grand ones, because to them those are small ones. So you'll get in on one of those quick turnaround ones or whatever. But the way that you even get to that point to where the ad company is even in, you're in contact with them, you're going back and forth with them, because they're going to vet the hell out of you before they speak to you. They're going to go to your social media because they're paying. So they're going to go to your social media. They got to believe it. Oh, this guy looks like he can do ads. They're going to listen to the type. They're going to listen to the type of music that you're putting out and see if it fits well with them, right? So study these ad companies, man. Go to UnchatGPT or go to um, Google. Google top 5 advertising companies in the United States. Look at who their clients are, right? Target, Toyota, McDonald's, or whatever. All of those websites are going to have their ads on there. They're going to have examples of the placements that they got. Listen to the music that they're using. See where you can fit in. If you can specialize in any of that, then that's an ad company that you need to reach out to with a playlist. Be like, look, I see that you guys are using this style of music or these styles of music. My team and I are exemplary in doing this type of stuff, yada yada yada. You know how to do the short email, get in, get out with the link or whatever. And as soon as you do that, they're going to run screaming to your social media to see if you're lying, to see if you're on there posting a bunch of other stuff, to see how long you've been on there, talking about advertising and talking about stuff that you're doing. And if they believe you, then you're going to get in the door a lot of the time. That's how we got in the door. It took us as a company you see, we got a bunch of commercial placements, advertising placements with the company, and it still took us over 4 years of looking right, getting placements and this and that, to finally get in with a couple of these majors. Actually, we're about to get in with a third one. Not saying that we couldn't have got in sooner, but it's all a timing thing. We had to beat somebody out. Somebody had to get into a position that was, bringing in new people at that company that clicked with us, So there's some extenuating factors, but these are things that you can do to shorten that distance between you and the ad company. It's really like a how you look thing, man. Make sure you're making some eclectic music. I would get a small team together if you can't do it all yourself. Recorded music is the best. uh the more songs the better, because they'll use the instrumentals from the song, so you don't want to be like, I'm just an instrumentalist, because like they're looking to break artists. A lot of these ad companies that we've spoken to, they're looking to break artists. They want to be either part of bringing that old artist popularity back or launching that new artist and being responsible for it, because it's just going to bring notoriety to whatever product that they're trying to promote in that ad. So but I feel you there, man, and fire emojis for that question, because you're trying to get to the bag, right? And shortest distance is a straight line. So you're like, how do I, you know, get all of this, get straight to it? Getting placements is going to get you there too, because even though they might not be adding up to the bag that you want, they're extending your resume, right? So every placement that you get is going to be looked at by whoever's vetting you from an ad company. right? So if you could have 100 of those placements that ain't paying that much versus 50, it's just going to make you look like that much more of a professional and probably get you there faster. So keep your foot on the gas with the placements that you're getting, because I see a lot of people could get discouraged with that too. They get into it and they think, oh man, I'm about to be able to quit my job, and then they're looking at 500 placements and they hardly got no money for it. The royalties haven't like really kicked in the way that they thought that it would. That happens more times than not in this. So you have to diversify the type of placements that you get. You use those first placements to build your resume up, and then you start networking and working with other people. You do songs and getting other types of placements, the type of placements that pay up front. Once you get to a certain level and sync, then you can talk about budgets. How much are you paying up front? And get more placements that actually are paying a fee up front versus just the gratis placements. You don't want to just always keep giving the music and doing gratis if you don't have to. You want to get paid up front if you can. And then you get those type of placements. You build those type of relationships. Do custom work when you can. There's a lot of different ways, but um, as far as like rescoring commercials and then adding the people who did the commercials in the first place, that's a great way to you know get somebody's attention. So shout out to Zella for a great question. Beats by Willie TV, Willie T TV. What's up, man? How you doing? And okay, let's see. Mr. Robinson said he's pitching 5 a week. Okay, Mr. Robinson. So you're pitching five playlists a week. So that's like one a day. Let me get this correct. So you're doing like one a day, one playlist. How many tracks per playlist? You guys hold up. We're talking to Mr. Robinson right now. We're going to help him level up real quick. This is for all of you guys. So bear with me. Bear with me. Mr. Robertson says 5 a week. I'm just trying to get it clear. Is a 5? So that's like one a day. A playlist of how many tracks? 7 to 10, hopefully. We're about to wrap it up, you guys, man. You guys been rocking with me for over an hour here, and it's been dope as usual. So I don't know if Mr. Robinson is still with us. He might have dipped off. A few of you dipped off. But he said 5 a week. So Beats by Willie T says, when pitching music to libraries, is it best to showcase a variety of genre to show versatility, or should I choose one genre or style of music to pitch? You should choose one style or genre to pitch that you specialize in, so it could be the absolute best example of what you're able to do. And before you even do that, you look up that library and see if they're really getting placements pitching the kind of music that you specialize in, right? That's what they want at first. That's what everybody wants as a specialist. They want the best example. If you send 5 different styles and they're all good, that's cool. They're all good. But one of those needs to be exceptional. They need to be great. If you're trying to stand out in a playlist, you want your music to be doper than everybody else's as possible. You really want to shine. So you send a playlist of what you can do best. What are you absolutely best at? You find who pitches or who places that type of music. You make those type of playlists. Once you get in, on that level, and they know he's very high level at this, they're going to assume that anything else you do bring to the table later on, you're going to be high level at. You're definitely going to get opportunities to showcase what else you can do later on. But you want to get in on a specialist level because you just want to be seen that way. And then you want to shine when they're getting multiple playlists from the other different people coming in, and you want to really kick butt. And the people that aren't getting this advice information, they're definitely okay. Well, I'm going to send a country track. I'm going to send a hip hop track. I'm going to send an EDM track. Da 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 da. They don't want to hear that at first. They want to see that, okay, well, they see I'm placing this kind of music. He does this type of music. He's done his homework. You know, should be a match made in heaven. Shout out to Beats by Willie TTV for the great question. I appreciate it. I appreciate it. And I think Mr. Robinson did dip out on us. And that's that. So my question is, how was your trip? Ah, thank you. Let me rub my mouth about my trip a little bit. So for those of you who don't know, I went on a cruise, Royal Caribbean cruise to Ensenada, Mexico last week. It was my first cruise, my first real vacation. It was my sister's 70th birthday. She's not even my older sister. I got one approaching 80, but um, very, very dope celebration. Got to see a ton of my family, both my sisters, my son. Uh, got a ring for his now fiance on that trip, so now he's engaged. It was dope. So overall, the trip was dope. I'm going to cruise next year. We're gonna go to the Bahamas next time. Eating all that food on a cruise ship is dope. I wish it was a little better food, but I am here in LA. That's all. I'm a foodie, so I'm real bougie about the food. So don't take my word for it. Wasn't nothing wrong with the food. I was just wanting some gourmet level food. But it was good food. If you ever get invited to go to Ensenada, Mexico, don't. You can miss Ensenada. Ensenada is just like hood all the way through it. Nothing to see. Uh, Bought a couple of cool trinkets, from the street merchants there, whatever, and did that. Definitely gonna go to another place in Mexico. But for overall, if you guys have never been on a cruise, go on a cruise. Okay. Don't be scared of the boat moving. It barely moves. You can barely feel it. I had a patch on, for Dramamine, so I didn't feel no seasickness or nothing. It was dope. There's tons and tons and tons of stuff to do on a boat. Um, Tons to eat. You ain't gonna be worried about that. My advice, if you can, get a cabin with a window that faces the ocean, not the interior of the ship, so you don't get claustrophobic or nothing. I don't know how you feel about that, but it was good having a balcony and that I could walk out on and see the ocean or whatever. One thing I will say is those ships are way bigger than you think, unless you really walked up on one, up close to one. They're just massive, and I'm fascinated by how they can do that. They can build something so big that can float and take you places like that. It's crazy. Um, but yeah, the trip was dope. I loved being on a cruise ship so much so that I'm gonna go ahead and save money for next year. This time I'm gonna fly to Florida and go to the Bahamas and see something a little bit more bougie, eat more seafood, 4 or 5 day next time, because it was a 3 day trip. It took me 2 days from unwind from working and all that kind of stuff or whatever. So it really wasn't long enough. I could have used another day. But it's dope. It's dope. It's very, very dope. So if you haven't done it, done it. Let me look to the comments real quick. And thank you for asking, man. I appreciate that. Congrats to them on the engagement. Oh yeah, thank you so much, man. I'm very happy. So Mr. Robinson says I try at least 4 to 5 each day. I'm sorry, I'm at work. Oh, it's all good. So you're at work. So that's the thing, man. If and I was about to clown you if you were doing one a day, right? Because I was just gonna say just do more, right? So 4 or 5 a day, just keep it up. It's just a matter of time. If you're not hearing from anybody, you might not have done as much due diligence as far as aiming that music specifically to where, you know, they could use it or it fits into what they're using or whatever. Um, you might be competing with guys that are submitting more than you, or I don't know. It could be the music. The music isn't popping enough, or maybe it isn't standing out enough for what they use. Um, it could be some reasons. I don't know. I'm not sure. I'll check out your submission. As a matter of fact, DM my producer whisper IG and just do it today. Um, I will answer you with my email, and then you can send me an email. And I'm only doing this for I send everybody else through other channels, But since you guys are in the community, you're in the live and you come here, you know, I'll do that. So, but I don't want to get bombarded with submissions this way because I don't really do submissions through my DM or whatever. But because this is a teaching moment, go ahead and hit me. I'll give you my personal email, and then I'll check it out and get back to you. And but just know that whatever this submission is, we're going to be discussing it next week here on the live. So we're all going to talk about it, good or bad. If it's a good, and I'm talking about from the email salutation to the ending to the actual music, we're going to go through the submission and see, if there's any holes in your submission process. So send me the submission. Once I send you the email, I want you to send it to me the way you would send anybody else. Okay. And then we're going to rate the submission 1 to 10, and we all going to learn from it next week. Are you cool with that, Mr. Robinson, the producer? If you're cool with that, just give me a 1 real quick. So he's cool with it. Shout out to Mr. Robertson for going out on a limb like that. Fire emojis for this brother because he's putting his head on the chopping block. You guys already know how I do. I'm good, man. Don't worry about it. But it's dope that he's willing to do that, to use his actual submission as an example for us to learn yay or nay from. So he says, I'm working on a rhythm of making new tracks, taking care of a baby, and sending music and working 10 hours a day, 10 hours, 6 days a week. So this brother's lifing. Mr. Robinson is lifing. Let's go. So Garrett says, let's go. We got you, but it's the hustle. We know you're doing a lot. That's the hustle, though. We're trying to win, right? We're trying to win. We're trying to level up, right? So it takes that. It takes working up all them hours. It takes dealing with that baby because we got to, that's little blessing bundle of joy that we got to have sometimes. And, it's all part of it. Oh, no excuses. I know you're not making no excuses. You here on the live, man. You at work. You got a new baby. You still turning in music, and you here congregating with us. So I know the hustle is strong in you. I already know. But I'm letting you know that you keep coming. We're going to keep supporting you. We're going to keep doing whatever we can do to help make that first placement happen sooner than later. So he working. We got you, man. We appreciate that hard work. I got new trailers. So you doing trailer stuff. So that's a specialty. That's definitely going to help you as far as standing out with your submissions, because you're doing you're creating a specialty music, a specialty genre. That trailer stuff is whether it's orchestral, hybrid orchestral, it's that's standout stuff, man. So if you guys are specializing in the trailer music, the orchestral, that's definitely a way to get noticed. Not a lot are doing that. It's a different skill set, different instruments. You're copping different VSTs for that, different formats, music formats. A lot of time you're creating music to the visual. So yeah, it's different. High level of respect for you guys even delving down that road doing trailers is dope. Fire emojis, fire emojis, fire emojis. So, any more questions? Speaking of trailers, how does the process go for getting clearance to do trailerized remixes of existing songs? Man, I would imagine it would be the same process of just getting a clearance, period. Getting going to the publisher, getting, or the label, the publisher, getting permission. I'm actually not sure. That's something that we could talk about next week, because I'll take this question. Hold on. Pin this message. Yeah, and I'll remember that one and do some studying myself. That's one for ChatGPT for sure. If anybody else in the chat knows, hey, you can let me know too. But if you guys are if you're remixing other people's stuff that's already out, you're definitely gonna face some copyright infringement and that type of thing. Same with film clips. I think with film clips, there's more leniency, and you can just credit the film clips if I'm on YouTube, and that's a way to get around it. But if you're replacing somebody's music, that's like a commercial song, like a Kendrick Lamar song or whatever, and you're trailerizing, and you're dealing with the labels. I wish Kim was on here. She could answer that, but we'll get back to it though. Sync community has blessed my knowledge. I'm very grateful for the energies of the room. Excalibur, Anthony, and you as well. Thank you so much, man. Even mentioning me with those guys, because you know how hard they go with social media. So I appreciate it for sure. And yeah, we just trying to make everybody's, road to their first placement, or as Clint says, road to 10 placements, um, happen as quickly as possible and as painless as possible. So most of you guys don't just got to wing it and figure it out. We can give you the information, or some of us sell you the information, step by step. But here, it's about community. It's about, getting that support, and learning that there's other people here going through the same stuff you might be going through, or similar things, and that we can get through it, man. Like I said, those days where you don't feel like doing it, those days where we feel like giving up, where it's not happening fast enough, we get together and we let you know, man, keep going. That light is at the end of the tunnel and it's coming, but you're not going to see it if you quit. Just keep going. You're in the tunnel, just keep going. The tunnel ends. So going back to the comments, great inspiration and great feedback. Big blessings. Thank you so much, man. We appreciate it. And we appreciate you being here. I really do, man. And each and every one of you that come every week, I don't want to start gushing, but I have no problem letting you guys know how I feel. I get so emotional about it, man. Love you guys, man. I swear to God. Let's see here. Looking forward to killing the game next year. My house is almost done. So it's back to full-time action. So fire emojis, fire emojis, fire emojis. For Segura, Cherry says DistroKid can do clearance. So we're going to be investigating that. Shout out to Cherry for the great comment. Thank you so much for letting us know that. Now I'm about to jump down a whole nother rabbit hole. Thank you. She did one for a Christmas song. Okay, that's dope. You would more than likely go through the publisher like UMG. They will clear it from what I have heard. Segura Productions. Okay. Also, I'm from Michigan. Been trying to work with YSR Grams and some other artists. So definitely pushing every day. Yeah, I've spent some time, man. I spent some time 7 Mile in Southfield in the D. Yeah. So we're in the comments, we're in the Q&A section. We're about to wrap it up though, man. I think I got the message out there. There's no excuses. Sync got to be part of your hustle. There's no excuses no more. It's just gotta be included. Gotta keep it going, man. All right, y'all. So do you guys have anything to say to each other real quick before we get out of here? Because I don't see any more questions. And it's Friday, so we got to start Friday in. You know what I mean? Let's go. The lanes of sync that we're getting into are only going to keep going up. Exactly. Exactly. The internet and social media has given us way more sync opportunities just because there's way more types of media being created, from YouTubers, bloggers to vloggers, I should say. I said bloggers, vloggers with a V. I'd be trying to reach out to people trying to create audiobooks because you could sell music to them to put background music on their audiobooks. Little music breaks in between chapters and that kind of stuff. There's just endless opportunities for you to monetize your music once you get into that mindset. Shout out to Segura for the great comment as usual. And that's what's up, y'all. I'm not gonna even keep you no more. I'm about to see you guys on social media. I can show you better than I can tell you. Yep, and could also, what did he say? Let me give you the 100 for that. You could also edit the audio and the audiobooks themselves. Uh-huh. You see he dropping it on you. Segura's always good with that. But with that being said, we're gonna go ahead and crash up out of here. Y'all have a dope weekend. Be safe. Remember, no excuses for not doing sync. We're waiting for those first placements. Mr. Robinson, you doing good, man. Stay in the fight. 4 or 5 a day is great. You're gonna knock it down. Hit me in the DM on the IG for the producer whisper, and we can go over that submission. We'll go over it next week publicly and make it a learning moment for everybody. So everybody be safe out there. And thank you, man. Thank y'all for coming this week, man. I appreciate y'all. That's what's up. I'm the producer whisper. Peace.